Man, it's like, have you ever seen something where like an entire season is just summed up in one play? All you got to do is go look at the block punt. That's the Cowboy season in one play, right? That's how you have to describe it. Man, let's just talk about it.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take!
Cowboys.
Throws back of the end zone. There's CeeDee
What's going on, everybody? Cowboys C3. Cowboys lose I don't even know if you would call it horrible. Maybe it's just expected. Heartbreaking. I don't even know if it's heartbreaking. Lose to the Bengals 27-20 to go 5-8. Bengals move up to 5-8. Cooper Rush goes 16 for 31, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Interception at the 5-yard line. On a horrible pass. The interception was dropped, popped up in the air. And then there was kind of some controversy behind it. The ball did hit the ground. It clearly hit the ground. I guess what the replay officials saw is that the receiver, which in this case was the defender, had control of the ball before it hit the ground. So gave Cincinnati the ball, interception for him. Rico Dowdle, man, has an excellent game. And I got some interesting takes on this. He has 18 carries for 131 for 77.3 yards a carry, no touchdowns. There's no way, and I know he probably got a little dinged up on the hit on the sideline where he got hit in the head, but there's no way that Rico Dowdle shouldn't have had 28 carries in this game. 7.3 yards per carry. It got into that lull in the second and the third quarter again where you get, actually in the second quarter, where you get pass happy and you just start throwing the ball. And you almost forget that your running back, I think at that point, was averaging like 8.2 yards a carry. Just give him the damn ball. Stop throwing so much. Cooper Rush is not – he's decent. He's a good backup quarterback is what he is. He'll come in here and he'll win some games. Sure, he's 7-4 as a starter. And a lot of people say, well, he's 7-3 as a starter. He didn't lose a game until they played Philly, when he came in for Dak for 5 games, 2 years ago. Man, that defense and Tony Pollard was the one that carried that team. Let's not even get that. Let's not get that twisted. That's who carried that football team. It was not Cooper Rush at all. But anyway, Kevontae Turpin has 2 carries for 15 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches for 93 yards. Didn't catch a ball to the fourth quarter. And another thing that was kind of baffling, Jake Ferguson, 3 catches for 32 yards. Schoonmaker had 2 catches for 22 yards. Turpin had 1 catch for 16 yards. Defensively, Eric Kendricks led with 12 total tackles. Donovan Wilson had 9 total tackles. Trayvon Diggs had 5 tackles. Didn't play bad at all. Actually, didn't play bad against the run at all. I will talk about the corners in a minute because Jamar Chase had a damn field day. Jordan Lewis had 7 tackles. Malik Hooker had 7 tackles and a pick. And Overshown had 6 tackles. Now, you lose Overshown to a knee injury where his leg got buckled. And they immediately ruled him out. I'm praying that it's nothing serious. I hope not. Cooper Beebe went out with a concussion. He'll definitely be put in a concussion protocol, and that'll probably make him lose, won't play next week, make him lose a game, not play next week against Carolina. I will say this. TJ Bass came in at right guard. Brock Hoffman moved to center. The offensive line looked pretty good. They started protecting Cooper Rush a little bit better. Cooper Rush, sure, he was under some pressure tonight, but Cooper Rush has a, and I noticed it tonight, he has a weird habit of stepping up in the pocket when he doesn't have to. And it's kind of strange. Like it seems like he kind of throws the timing of the playoff. Didn't look for CeeDee Lamb much in the third quarter at all. Just kind of went, was throwing to other people and wasn't throwing very many completions. However, they went back to the run game in the third quarter, and that's what kind of kept them in the game. For the Bengals, Joe Burrow, 33 of 44 for 369 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw an interception on an overthrown pass. Malik Hooker picked that off. You ever notice Malik Hooker's 2 interceptions always come when he's out of position? It's just a ball floats over somebody's head, and he's just kind of standing there looking around. He's like, oh, shit, here comes a pass, and then he picks it off. Brown had 14 carries for 58 yards. Jamar Chase, 1 carry for 14 yards. Jamar Chase had 14 catches for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is absolutely unsatisfactory. He came in here and kind of did whatever he wanted to. Now, Deron Bland took a horrible angle on that last drive, and we'll talk about that last drive, and we'll talk about this block punt. Just to kind of break the ice on the block punt, that's a legit rule. That is legit. Once the ball is punted and the punt is blocked, once it crosses the line of scrimmage, it becomes a neutral ball, right? And it actually becomes like the defensive player has already touched the ball. Once another defensive player touches it, that ball is live after that. And I had to go and look at the rules, man, because I was like, look, if the defender touched the ball right there, the ball should have been dead. But if the punt is blocked, once the punt is blocked and it crosses the line of scrimmage, if a defender touches the ball, it becomes a live ball. If he touches it and doesn't, if he goes for a recovery and doesn't recover the ball clean and the ball ends up in the kicking team's hands, then that is the kicking team's ball right where it is first down. And the ball is, and the play is dead right there. That's unfortunate because the defense has started to step up, and they were really stopping the Bengals because Joe had kind of gone bananas for a minute, especially in that second, third quarter. He started completing a lot of passes. You finally start to shut that down, and you finally get some pressure on them, and you get a sack, right? And you got a sack the play before that, and it probably should have been a face mask on Lou foul, but they missed that call. It's cool, whatever. You come back, you block the punt. Nick Vigil comes in, gets a beeline straight up the middle, blocks the punt. It should have been everybody on the Cowboy roster screaming, get away from the damn ball. But it didn't happen. Awari just went after the ball. He did what he thought was right. He went after the ball, couldn't field it clean. Bengals end up recovering the punt, right? And 2 plays later, Jamar Chase is running down the sideline for a touchdown. It gives you 27-20, and that's how your final score is. It's a tough way to lose, right? But if you look at the way the game was played, in the first quarter, the Cowboys came out. They did exactly what I said that they should do in my keys to victory: run the ball and just play defense. Joe Burrow's going to get his. Jamar Chase is going to get his, and that's fine. You need to stop the run, which they did a pretty decent job at it. I mean, running back rushed for 65 yards. He had a catch on a screen pass where he stayed in bounds for a touchdown. But that's one of those plays that's going to happen, especially with this Bengals offense. Joe is going to come in here and throw for 300 yards. That's what it's a given. That's what he does every week. But their defense gives you opportunities to capitalize on some plays. In the third quarter, I noticed that the Bengals just stepped up their entire defense. Like, there was no safety help at all, and the Cowboys refused to go deep. And on the one play where they did go deep, it was an underthrown ball to, again, Kevontae Turpin on the right side as an outside receiver. Man, there are so many opportunities for the Cowboy receivers just to break routes. I just don't think that they believe that Cooper Rush can get the ball down the field, and that's why the passing game is so short. His deepest pass up until the fourth quarter was a 16-yard completion, a 12-yard completion. He completed a 16-yard completion to Kevontae Turpin. They just don't put the ball down the field because I don't think they believe Cooper Rush can do it. The offensive line, after they kind of did the shuffle when Cooper Beebe got hurt, the offensive line kind of solidified itself, and it started giving him some time to throw the ball. He was stepping up in the pocket sometimes when he had a pretty clean pocket to throw, and that was putting him in trouble. sometimes I just question the play calling in general. There's no way that my running back is averaging 7.3 yards per carry now, and he only has 18 carries. If he's averaging carries like that, and I know that I need to drink some of this time off this clock to keep that offense on the sideline, it's too many 3-and-outs, and it's 3 passes 3-and-outs. Just give Rico Dowdle the ball. Z came in, carried the ball a couple times, and they took him out. It's kind of questionable. And then, like, I'm hoping, but it didn't look good. I'm hoping you didn't lose your new superstar. I'm hoping you didn't lose him. Overshown played a hell of a game. He was playing lights out once again. And, he just got twisted up on a play where he was blocked and the play came right down at his feet. And that right knee again got buckled up underneath a Cincinnati offensive lineman. And it's a tough break. And, player walks off the field like that slow, right? And we talk about it on here. We've talked about it on here a couple of times. We talk about non-contact injury with players getting rolled up. Players get rolled up like that, man, it's not a good look. And hopefully it's just a sprain and it's nothing serious. And, he can, sit out a couple of weeks and just move past it. But I'm praying that it's not that ACL again. Because if it's that ACL on the same knee, man, that's trouble. That's 3 years. It'd be 3 years in the NFL. Excuse me. Yeah, 3 years in the NFL and 2 years in the NFL and 2 major knee surgeries. That's tough. Hopefully that's not the case. BB just kind of took a shot to the head. I think he'll be fine. He probably won't. He may not get. It depends on how he does in concussion protocol. He may not get to play against Carolina, but I'm not mad at Brock Hoffman at center either. Brock Hoffman is he's a hard-nosed football player. I think they had one. And, Zach Martin, once he shut it down for the season and decided to have the surgery, it gave Brock Hoffman a chance to play. And you really got to see what kind of player Brock Hoffman is. He's an excellent football player. And he, hopefully he gets a shot next year. Not real sure what the Cowboys are going to do, in this offseason. But this one's kind of tough. You won the things that you were supposed to win. First down battle, you lost it 23-17. That's fine. Third down efficiency, you were 4 for 12. They were 4 for 10. You had 59 total plays. They had 69. You allowed 3 sacks. They allowed 2. You punted 4 times. They punted 3 times. You had 4 penalties for 36 yards. They cleaned up the penalties this game. Cincinnati had 10 penalties for 77 yards. You won the turnover battle 2-1. Time of possession. You lost the time of possession battle 33 minutes and 11 seconds to 26 minutes and 49 seconds. You flip that around, you probably win the game. You got to run the ball in these situations, even though you're a touchdown behind because the score was 17-10, and they just went, forget the run game, let's throw the ball. Run the ball sometimes, man. You have to run the ball, even in situations where you're not getting blown out. You're not getting blown out. Just run the ball. You won the turnover battle. You played, decent. You gave up too many yards to Jamar Chase, but let's be honest. We all knew that was going to happen anyway. You knew that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were going to get theirs. You needed to stop everybody else. And to be honest, you didn't do a terrible job of it. Not really. They didn't score the points that they've been scoring all season. They scored 27 points. And the last 7 came because Deron Bland took a bad angle and gave up a touchdown on a 5-yard out. It's tough. That's tough. And it doesn't really get any easier because next week you got to go to Carolina, which is a team that's playing really good football. They've taken Tampa, to the brink of defeat. They took Philly to the brink of defeat. If Xavier Legette makes a catch, man, they beat Philly. They're playing really, really good football. They're running the ball very well. Bryce Young is throwing the ball very well. Adam Thielen, seemed like he took a big drink out of the fountain of youth. Legette is, he's playing, he just makes some rookie mistakes from time to time, but he's playing decent football. You're going against a good team in Carolina. I don't know what you do. Continue to play the way that you're playing. I would lean on Rico Dowdle for the rest of the season. As long as he can stay healthy, I'd lean on him. I would. You should have leaned on him more tonight. 18 carries. We had 170 yards rushing. 131 yards rushing. Like how do you not, man? 18 carries, at least 25. 25. I think 25 carries just changes the outlook of this game. I do. And like I said, I know he probably got dinged up when he got hit in the helmet when he made a run down the sideline. I get that, right? And I know he had to come out for a couple plays, but he came back in. Run the ball. You just went through that lag in the second quarter where you just decided, well, we ain't running the ball no more. We're finna let Cooper Rush just turn loose. And he can't. He can't do it. You know, it is what it is, man. So I'm not gonna keep y'all up too long tonight, man. I see a couple people in the live. How y'all doing? Hope y'all had a good night. You know, tough loss. Hopefully we can bounce back next week against a good Carolina team, a resurgent Carolina team. Record doesn't show, you know, how good that they've been playing these last couple of weeks. And it's tough. This one is tough. And you know, for it to end the way that it ended, especially on the play where, you know, a guy was just trying to make a hustle play. And, you know, in Warrior, he's trying to recover the ball to keep it from moving forward. And it took a short hop on him. You could tell he didn't play baseball. He didn't feel that very well. It bounced off and it got recovered by Cincinnati. That's tough. It is what it is. All right. So we'll talk more about Carolina probably on Wednesday. You know, like I said, resurgent football team. Bryce Young kind of got his second opportunity this season, and he's playing very well. It's going to be a tough game. And you play them, you know, noon on the road in Carolina. You play a lot better on the road than you have at home. But hopefully you can sneak out a win. We'll talk about it. We'll get more into it on Saturday. We'll go through the keys to victory, what Carolina does well, what you can exploit, you know, and then we'll talk more, you know, on Wednesday. We'll talk about these injuries, and hopefully we don't have anything serious to talk about. I hope not. I think BB, he may be out, you know, just for being on the concussion protocol, but I think the entire, you know, everybody's going to be asking, you know, what about Overshown? What about Overshown? And we'll find out, man. But I tell you what, it didn't look good. And that's unfortunate. It really is. Hopefully it's nothing big. Hopefully it's just a strain or, MCL sprain, something like that. I'm just hoping it's not that ACL. That's the same ACL that he tore in the preseason last year. All right, everybody. Once again, Cowboys lose to Cincinnati 27-20. Tough loss, man. Hopefully we can get over it. All right, everybody. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Have a great rest of the evening. All right, peace.